It all began on what was supposed to be an ordinary night. I was walking home after a late meeting, earbuds in, FaceTiming my best friend Anais. The streets were quiet, the only light coming from flickering street lamps. Then, out of nowhere, a sharp whistle broke through the silence. "Does a pretty thing like you like it from behind?" A man shouted from somewhere behind me. I tried to ignore it, told myself to keep walking and act like I hadn't heard anything. I wasn't scared yet, not while I was still on the phone with Anais. Her laughter through the screen made me feel less alone. But then I heard footsteps, fast ones, getting closer. "Anais," I whispered, panic rising in my throat. "I'm going to run to the 24-hour pharmacy on 3rd Street." I started jogging, trying to keep my breathing even, to make sense of what was happening. But then I heard her giggling through the phone again. "So, you've never been to Mykonos?" a man's voice asked her. "Never," she replied with another laugh. "But I've always wanted to go." My stomach twisted. Was she talking to someone else? The footsteps behind me grew louder, closer. I could almost feel his presence. "Anais," I hissed, my voice shaking. "Call 911, please." "Hold on," she said casually, her voice distant. "Sorry, my friend's just being paranoid about some guy." Paranoid? My pulse was pounding so hard it hurt. I cut through an alley, hoping to reach the pharmacy faster. It was risky, but I didn't care. The bright lights ahead felt like safety. But when I glanced back, he was still following, 20 feet, maybe less. His breathing was heavy, ragged. "Come back here," he called out, voice disturbingly playful. "I just want to talk." The pharmacy lights glowed like a beacon, but when I yanked the doors, they wouldn't move, locked. I slammed my fists against the glass. "No, no, no, Anais!" I shouted into the phone. "They're closed. I need you to call someone now." On her end, she was still flirting. "Wow, you go to Greece every summer? That must be incredible." My hands were trembling so badly, I could barely hold my phone. I tried dialing 911 myself, my thumb sliding across the screen, but I could barely see through the panic. The automated voice came through. "Your estimated wait time is 12 minutes. 12 minutes. I might not even have 12 seconds. "Anais," I screamed. "He has a knife." From her end, I heard the man's voice again, sounding amused. "Shouldn't you help your friend? Sounds like she's in trouble." "Oh my gosh, you're so right," she replied brightly. "That's so thoughtful of you to notice." Then fumbling sounds. Finally, her voice louder. "Hello, 911. My friend's being chased by a man with a knife near the CVS on 3rd Street. He was only 10 feet away now. I grabbed the newest thing I could find, a metal garbage can lid, and turned just as he lunged. I swung hard, hitting his jaw. He stumbled, groaning in pain. I didn't wait. I ran. My legs burned. My lungs screamed. But I didn't stop. "They're sending someone," Anais said cheerfully through the speaker. Then, back to her new companion. "You were so sweet to remind me. I get How long?" I gasped, glancing behind me. He was up again, limping but still coming. "She wants to know how long," I heard her repeat, like she was ordering coffee. "Uh-huh, about 8 minutes," she added. "There's a big fire downtown." 8 minutes. He grabbed my hair from behind. Pain shot through my scalp as I screamed. My phone flew from my hand, clattering across the pavement. I could still hear her voice from the ground. "So anyway, Mykonos, would you take someone with you?" I bit his hand hard until I tasted blood. He cursed, jerking back. I scrambled for my phone, knees scraping concrete. Through the cracked screen, I saw Anais sitting at a bar, twirling her hair, smiling. "Tell them I'm on the corner of 3rd and Bryant," I screamed. "Did you hear that?" the man beside her asked. "Oh, she'll be fine," Anais said, waving her hand. "She gets anxious. So, tell me more about your yacht." I ran again, lungs about to burst. Ahead, I saw a laundromat glowing under a flickering sign. I slammed on the glass door, shouting, "Please help me." A woman inside looked up in shock and hurried over, fumbling for her phone. The man outside was right behind me, pounding on the door, shouting words I couldn't even process. "Call someone," I begged. She started speaking rapid Spanish, voice trembling. I pressed my back against the washing machines, trying to breathe. "They're 2 minutes away," Anis's voice chirped from the floor, still on speaker. "Oh wow, is that a Rolex?" The back door creaked, wood splintered. "It's a Patek Philippe, actually," the man at the bar said. "You have such good taste," she replied cheerfully. The door gave way. He stepped inside, calm, too calm. His grin was almost gentle. "You shouldn't have run that far," he said softly. Then, sirens. Faint but real. Red and blue lights flashed across the window. Anais's voice still filled the air. "Patek Philippe. That's even nicer than a Rolex, right?" He lunged. I grabbed a bottle of bleach someone had left behind and threw it straight into his face. The next morning, I went straight to Anais's apartment. She opened the door, wearing that guy's Michigan hoodie. Her hair messy, eyes bright, like nothing had happened. "I almost died last night," I said quietly. She blinked, then rolled her eyes. "You're being dramatic. The cops showed up, didn't they?" Something inside me broke. "You want to know the truth?" I said, my voice trembling, but firm. "Men don't notice you because you're special. They notice you because you're easy to manipulate, because you'd let your best friend die just to keep their attention. And when they realize there's nothing in you but desperation and an empty heart, they leave." Her smile faltered. For a second, I saw hurt flash across her face. Then it shifted into something cold. Her eyes went flat, emotionless. She stepped back and slammed the door so hard the walls shook. From inside, I heard glass shatter. I stood there, frozen, then turned and walked away on shaky legs. By the time I reached the elevator, I could barely press the button. In the parking garage, I sat in my car gripping the steering wheel until my hands turned white. 10 minutes passed before I could even start the engine. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about that man or that night. It was about who Anais really was, and how she'd make sure I paid for exposing it. For nearly a week, I didn't hear from her. No texts, no calls, not even a passive-aggressive meme on her story, which for her was unusually quiet. Honestly, I didn't care. I was still processing everything. The nightmares, the sirens, that man's face. I even started therapy. My therapist told me trauma can replay itself like a loop until your brain finally feels safe again. But how could I feel safe when the person I trusted most had left me to die? Then one morning, I woke up to a flood of messages. "Hey, are you okay? What's going on between you and Anais? Girl, you should check her story." My stomach dropped. I opened Instagram, and there she was, perfectly posed, flawless makeup, sitting in the same bar where she'd met that guy. The caption read, "Some people love playing the victim for attention. I don't associate with drama anymore." And right below that, my face, a selfie I'd sent her the day after the attack. My eyes were swollen, lip bruised, still shaken. She blurred out my name, but everyone who knew us could tell. The comments were already piling up. "Wait, is this who I think it is? Lol, not her again. Didn't she say she was almost murdered or something?" My throat closed. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst. I called her. No answer. I texted, "What's wrong with you? Take that down." Minutes later, she posted another story, this time a screenshot of my message. Crazy how people always show their true colors. That's when I realized something terrifying. She didn't just want to embarrass me. She wanted to destroy me. Over the next few days, rumors spread fast. Mutual friends stopped talking to me. Even at work, people whispered when I passed. Someone told HR I'd been making up stories for sympathy. I started eating lunch in the bathroom just to avoid the stares. Every post Anais made felt like another hit. Never direct, but always pointed. Always vague enough to make people doubt me. One night, I got a call from an unknown number. "Hey," a deep voice said, "is this the girl who cried wolf?" I hung up immediately. Seconds later, a text came through. "Heard you like to make up stories. Want to make a new one tonight?" My hands were shaking as I blocked the number. I called Anais, furious. "What did you do? Are you out of your mind?" She laughed. "Relax. I didn't post your name. If people assume things, that's not my fault." "You know exactly what you're doing," I snapped. "Oh, please," she said, her tone dripping with fake innocence. "You act like you're some kind of hero. You're not. You're just jealous people like me more." "People like you because I defended you," I said, my voice low. "I covered for you every time you hurt someone. But not anymore." There was silence. Then her voice dropped, colder, sharper. "You really shouldn't have said that to me," she whispered. "You'll regret it." The line went dead. That night, my car tires were slashed. The next morning, my boss called me in. "Someone filed a complaint," she said carefully. "They claim you've been making threats online. Do you know anything about this?" I didn't have to ask who it was. I was starting to see what kind of game Anais was playing, and how far she'd go to win it. At first, I told myself maybe it would blow over. Maybe people would move on. But I underestimated her. Because what came next wasn't just petty, it was calculated. 2 weeks after her first post, everything got worse. I walked into work one morning and felt every head turn. Some people pretended to be busy, others just stared. I didn't understand why until my coworker Mia slipped me her phone under the desk. On the screen was a TikTok. A familiar voice spoke over a blurry photo of me at a company event. "Ever had a friend fake an attack just for sympathy? Yeah. Imagine wasting police time and your coworker's energy." Then the camera flipped to Anais, effortlessly put together, sipping iced coffee, her hair in perfect curls. Girls like that ruin it for real victims. Anyway, stay safe out there, queens. The hashtags filled the screen. Hashtag fake friend, hashtag drama-free, hashtag stay woke. The video already had over 50,000 views. My mouth went dry. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It was defamation. And the comments, "She's so real for saying this. I knew someone like that too. Wait, is this that girl who called the cops last month?" They were talking about me. By lunchtime, my boss called me into HR again. "We're not taking sides," she said carefully, "but this kind of attention isn't good for the company." I wanted to scream. Instead, I sat there, numb. That night, I scrolled through Anais's page. Every post was like a weapon disguised as empowerment. Subtle captions, cryptic quotes, inside jokes only our circle would understand. Then I saw something new. A photo of her standing near a police car, captioned, "Sometimes the truth catches up." The comments were full of speculation. Is she getting arrested? No, someone else is in trouble. I refreshed the page again and froze. Pinned at the top was a new story, a blurry image of a police report. My police report, except it had been edited to look fake. The address, the officer's name, it was all there. "Are you kidding me?" I whispered. Then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You really shouldn't have made her mad." I called the police again, explaining everything, how I'd been stalked, harassed, defamed. The officer sighed. Unless there's a direct threat or proof she's behind it, there's not much we can do. So what? I just wait until she ruins my life? I asked. I'd recommend staying off social media for a while, he said. I hung up, tears burning behind my eyes. But that was the moment something shifted inside me. Maybe it was exhaustion, or anger, or survival. I realized I couldn't just hope she'd stop. I had to take control of the story before she finished writing it for me. I created a new account, completely anonymous. No name, no photo, just a plain gray profile. Then I began posting my side of the story, screenshots of our messages, timestamps, and voice notes of her laughing while I was crying for help. I didn't reveal her name, but I didn't need to. People started connecting the dots immediately. Within hours, my DMs flooded. Wait, is this the same Anais who posted about fake victims? Oh my God, I used to be friends with her. She did the same thing to me. Then people started digging. Old posts surfaced where she had clearly contradicted herself. Another girl shared a video showing Anais had stolen her boyfriend and lied about it. And then another. Like dominoes, her stories began to unravel. Suddenly, the internet wasn't on her side anymore. Anais didn't take it quietly. The next day, she went live. Her face was red, mascara streaked. I can't believe people are trying to cancel me, she sniffled. I was just trying to help someone who needed attention. Her tears looked convincing. Her voice shook at all the right moments. Comments poured in, some sympathetic, some skeptical. You don't deserve this. Wait, she has receipts. Just admit you were wrong. She stared straight at the camera, eyes glossy. I just hope she gets the help she needs, she said softly. And she wasn't done. The next morning, someone broke into my car again. This time, the tires weren't slashed. Instead, something sat on the passenger seat. A tube of red lip gloss. Her brand. I stared at it like it was a live grenade. Same brand, same shade. The one she always carried, the color she called Crimson Truth. It wasn't just a message. It was a warning. I called the police again. The same officer showed up, notebook in hand, trying to be sympathetic. You said she left this? He asked. Yes, she broke in. He sighed. No forced entry, no damage. Did you leave it unlocked? I felt my stomach twist. I don't think so. Well, he said, closing the notebook, without fingerprints or video evidence, there's not much we can do. Maybe install a camera next time. Next time. Like he expected there would be one. That night, I didn't sleep. Every sound outside made me jump. I kept checking my locks, replaying the last few weeks in my head. How had my life become this? By 3 a.m., I opened my laptop and started digging. Old messages, screenshots, photos, anything that could prove what she had done. I found things I'd forgotten about. Texts where she mocked my panic attack. Audio messages of her gossiping about friends she later claimed to defend. Step by step, I rebuilt the record. Every lie she told, every manipulation she tried to pull, I documented. Then I started posting, carefully, methodically. Screenshots, voice notes, timestamps. Proof of her behavior, her lies, her cruelty. Not names, not accusations, just facts. People noticed. Connections formed. Soon former friends began to speak up, adding their stories to mine. Within days, Anais's carefully curated image began to crumble. Her followers questioned her posts, her claims, her victim narrative. The same people who had supported her now doubted her, piecing together a consistent picture that matched my account. Finally, Anais went live again, red-faced, mascara running, trying to defend herself. But this time, the comments were different. Skeptical, critical, factual. People weren't taking her side. She realized she couldn't control the narrative anymore. And that's when I understood something important. I didn't need to publicly shame her. I didn't need to attack her character. I just needed to show the truth, calmly and clearly. The truth speaks for itself. After that, things slowly settled. She stopped posting about me. Her attacks became less frequent. The harassment stopped, and I finally felt a small sense of control return. I still carry the memories of that night, the fear, the betrayal, the panic. But I learned something crucial. You can't control what manipulative people do, but you can control how you respond. And sometimes, the strongest response is simply showing the facts and standing your ground. Because in the end, truth is louder than lies, and consistency exposes manipulation. Anais didn't want to be exposed, but that was her choice, not mine.